Welcome back to the channel. I'm Nathan, a photographer from Maine, and I like a lens. For the last several months, I've been trying to find the perfect lens to use with my Leica M11 and my M6. That is kind of the kit that I'm addicted to, that I use, that it's easy for me to take everywhere I go, on every trip, and even on every daily outing. So that is a kind of a decided factor. And the only lens that I had for my film Leica originally, and then I had started using with my digital Leica, was a Voigtlander 50 f1.2, which I absolutely love. I love how it renders. I shoot it mostly wide open. But it is not ideal for things like street photography when you're trying to zone focus. It's not ideal just for its size and weight. So I have tried many lenses and returned many lenses to B&H. I suspect that at some point I will trigger some sort of a watch list where they'll refuse to sell to me or refuse returns from me. But for now, it's been working out well as a way to kind of try out several different things. And so I tried many. I decided that 35 millimeter was not what I wanted pretty early on, despite Voigtlander having a new version of their 35 f1.2, which I was very excited to try and had pre-ordered. And then it didn't hit for those sorts of photos with wide open, large apertures. I like the 50 for that, so it didn't really fit with anything that I like to shoot, and I knew I wouldn't be grabbing that. So that one went back. I tried smaller 35s, a couple of other 50s, like the Zeiss Planar and the Sonar, and they're both very good in their own way. Ergonomically, they weren't really what I was looking for. They were a little bit too long. I I really don't like the silver ring on the end of the black models. I don't like how the blue markings don't match anything on a Leica system. Um, Rendering wise, they're perfectly fine and capable lenses, but also not quite as bright as what I would want if I needed a little bit more for low light. So I kept looking, and I decided to try 28. I previously didn't think that anything any wider than 35 would be interesting to me, but I also knew that with the wider focal length, I'd be able to zone focus a little easier and get more depth of field without really trying too much. And I shoot a lot of sort of hip fire style street photography, so that one was appealing in that regard, and I figured I'll just get a little closer and make good use of the wider angle. And the very first 28 millimeter lens that I tried, well, that's not true. The first one that I ordered, I had the Contax G1 28 millimeter Zeiss Biogon, and I bought a little adapter, or it's not really an adapter, it's a complete new helicoid for the lens, and converted it over, and it worked great. The images were awesome, but I don't think I can recommend it. I think several years ago there were more options available for those helicoids, and they were higher quality. There appears to be one seller on eBay, at least in the US, that you can buy this from, and the quality is adequate, but not up to any actual professional lens company's specs. Very plasticky. You can hear plastic rubbing when you focus. So I converted that back to Contax. My G1 is still working fine for now, so when I shoot that camera, I'll shoot that lens there. So the alternative was I ordered the Voigtlander 28 millimeter f2.8 color Scopar, and that has been a phenomenal lens, and I never tried any other one. It is very sharp. It's very small. It has the focus tab that I enjoy. You as expected, I can set it at f8 and get something like maybe 5 feet to infinity-ish in focus, something like that. I'm not remembering right now, but which takes kind of focusing off the table for street photography, and you're really just left with kind of exposure, making sure your shutter speed is up to capturing the movement, depending on the conditions. So that has been brilliant, and I've loved the photos that I've gotten out of it. And in part 2 of this video, I will kind of like, I'll go with that. But that's still not the ultimate forever lens that I had actually finally come to. And that one is not going to be much of a shocker. It's back on the 50 millimeter. And when one popped up used on B&H for what seemed like a pretty reasonable price, I was all over it. I ordered it, haven't looked back. It was in very worn quality condition, which I quite enjoy. It's just some markings on the barrel. It looks like it's been loved and used by someone else, and I don't mind that. The glass is in perfect shape. And that would be the 50 Summilux f1.4, and that is not the latest close focusing version. It's the one before that. But that is what I was looking for. On paper with the grams, it's not that much lighter than the 50 f1.2 Voigtlander, but it feels so much different. It's way more balanced. The barrel is quite a bit narrower. Lengthwise, they're roughly the same. It has the slide out hood, which it probably wouldn't be my first choice, but I kind of don't mind having that option when I'm locked in, just being able to pull that out and know that I can, kind of eliminate some glares, and also kind of protect the front end element a little bit more. It's fine. It's also on my copy, it's very dinged up. That's one of the worst wear points there, but it's not so dinged that it won't slide out. So in my opinion, it's perfect. I love the copy that I got. There's the slightest bit that I had read about of wobble in the focus knob, but that seems to go away when it's actually mounted. For some reason, it seems super solid when it's mounted on the camera. It's just when it's off that you can kind of feel a little give there, and I think that's correctable, but for now I don't see a problem in the photos or anything, so I'll leave it. But that is my lens, and the first real outing that I took it out, besides just some general testing, was on a weekend trip to Montreal, and part 1 of this video will be the photos I took with that 50 millimeter Summilux, and so I'll roll that now. Take a look. Thanks for watching. Obviously, like and subscribe. I won't see you next time because that's not how YouTube works.